By the time Portlook made the news, it was already gone. Not burned, not flooded, not wiped off the map by war or some biblical storm, just emptied. The streets still there, the houses still standing, coffee mugs on kitchen counters, cars parked with keys in the ignition, and not a single person left inside the town limits. On the satellite images, it looks normal, a small coastal dot on the edge of the North Pacific. But when investigators zoomed in, frame by frame, they saw something that didn't match any evacuation drill, any natural disaster, any human pattern. They saw a town that, sometime between sunrise and sunset, decided, almost unanimously, to run. On paper, Portlook was forgettable. A fishing town on the Oregon coast, wedged between a stretch of dark pines and a restless, steel-gray ocean. Population, 1,183. One church, one bar, a diner with peeling red stools and coffee that tasted like burnt cigarettes. If you drove the coastal highway, you'd miss the sign if you blinked. Portlook East 1893. For most of its life, it was a place people passed through, not a place people moved to. The kind of town where last names mattered more than job titles, where everyone knew who your grandfather fought with, or drank with, or ran from. And for a long time, the ocean was the town's only monster. Storms, debts, and storms again. But if you talk to the few people who ever left Portlook before that one impossible day, they'll tell you something that doesn't show up in census data or tourism brochures. They'll tell you about the sound. It didn't have a name at first. Just a low, distant vibration that people blamed on the logging trucks or the old fishing trawlers coming in heavy at night. It would start just after midnight. A faint pressure in the chest, a hum you felt in your teeth more than you heard with your ears. The kind of sound that made the glasses in the cupboard barely tremble, the cheap picture frames tilt a millimeter to the left. Dogs would lift their heads, ears pricked, then crawl under tables. At first it was a story people made fun of, fishermen blaming the hum for losing sleep. Teenagers daring each other to go down to the docks at 2 a.m. and listen to the ghost bass line, as they called it. The first written record of it isn't in any newspaper. It's in an incident report filed by Sheriff Daniel Harlow in 2003. A complaint. Multiple residents reporting structural vibration without visible cause. No trucks on the road, no storms offshore. Seismometers at the nearest research station, 40 miles away, showing nothing. Harlow closed it with a note that reads like a shrug. No evidence of criminal activity, possibly industrial or environmental noise. Case closed. But the hum didn't stop, it just got smarter. Over the years, people began to describe it differently. It wasn't just a single tone anymore. It became layered, like chords. Subtle variations, pulses, rhythms. Sometimes it came with a faint metallic ringing, sometimes with a distant, almost human resonance, like voices behind a wall, too muffled to understand, but close enough to unsettle. It always started after midnight, and it always peaked at 2:13 a.m., not 2:10, not 2:15, 2:13, every night. If you were sitting in your living room in Portlook at 2:13 a.m., you might see the lampshade quiver. You might feel the couch cushion buzz beneath your legs. You might watch your own hand resting on your knee and wonder why your fingers looked like they were breathing, expanding and contracting with each invisible wave. The local bar started closing early. The church began hosting night prayers for those who couldn't sleep. The diner added a special on the menu called the 2:13 breakfast, for people who had been up all night anyway. Still, life went on. Kids went to school, boats went out, bills were due. The hum was creepy, yes, but you can get used to almost anything if it doesn't kill you. For a while, that was Portlook's arrangement with whatever was out there. Uneasy coexistence. Don't ask too many questions. Don't look too far into the water. Then the whales came. It started with a single massive carcass that washed onto the black rocks just north of town. A gray whale, bloated and split, eyes clouded. The locals were used to dead sea life now and then, but not like this. The flesh around the head was wrong. Not just torn, but flayed in precise, spiraling patterns, as if something had unwrapped it. The jaw was unhinged at an angle the marine biologist from Newport said she had never seen before. The bones around the ear region, where whales sense and interpret sound, were shattered into dust as if they'd been shaken apart from the inside. Within a week, 3 more whales washed up along a 10-mile stretch of coastline. Different sizes, same spiral patterns, same powdered ear bones. The state sent in a team. They took samples, photographs, video. In public, they called it an ongoing investigation into possible environmental stressors. In private, according to one leaked email later obtained through a public records request, they used different language. Systemic acoustic trauma of unknown origin. Portlook had lived with the hum for years, but now something else was listening. You can mark the beginning of the end on a specific date, October 17th, 2019. At 10:32 p.m., a teenage boy named Caleb Morris uploaded a video to a small paranormal forum. The title was simple, "My town has a sound I can't record." In the 2-minute clip, you see his bedroom, posters, a messy bed, a cheap microphone perched on a stack of textbooks. Caleb speaks directly to the camera, eyes wide, half laughing, half scared. He explains that every night around 2 a.m. something shakes his house. He's tried recording it dozens of times. Each time, when he plays it back, the audio is just static or an eerie, high-pitched whine that doesn't match what he hears in the room. Then, as the video continues, he jumps forward, cutting to footage filmed at 2:12 a.m. The camera is pointed at a glass of water sitting on his desk.